How's it going? Welcome back to another video. Real quick, let me know if I should bring the beard back or not. It took me 2 months, so, I'm not sure how I felt about it. But anyways, in this episode, I'm going to talk about another recap from 2015 when I went to Hagler. I went to Hagler a lot that year because that's when I started going there. But anyways, let's just jump right in. So to kind of start things off, I was going to go to Lone Tree originally. That's kind of where I was driving to. And I saw that it was super low. Since I don't live in Loveline, I couldn't really check that out. So I ended up going to Hagler since it's right down the road. And, I had a few good days already out there at that point. Spoilers, the next Hagler video is going to be even more ridiculous. Because this kind of helped me figure out another bite later on. Anyways, I decided, I just wanted to try to catch something at this point. And crankbaits weren't working. The stereotypical stuff at Lone Hagler, wasn't really working. Like flipping a jig, pitching Senkos around, fishing a crankbait, topwater. So I was like, you know what do people not really throw too often? Or what do people not really do? Which, kind of after I describe this day, I'm going to get more into it. Just this idea. I was like, I don't see a lot of people slow roll spinnerbaits. So, especially around rock. At least in Colorado. So I'm like, I'm going to try that. Right away, started getting bit. So it turned from a really slow, pretty shitty day, to be honest, to a lot of fun, and able to just kind of make up for kind of like plans changing and whatnot. Because originally I wanted to do a lot of flipping and pitching at Lone Tree, but you can't really dictate when the water drops around here. But yeah, in most of these clips, some of the fish, they hit it like pretty dang close to the bank, like right when it kind of hit the water, just a few cranks in. Some of them hit it way, just way later on in the cast, like closer to the boat. But the ultimate goal when you're doing this is to keep the retrieval slow. Like, you want to keep it barely above the rocks. Like, you don't want it to be hitting the rocks, in my opinion, but you want it to just be kind of like slowly just skimming over it. I know I got one of the other spinnerbaits I was trying to throw when it started getting a little darker. That immediately got stuck, and I had to break it off. Mainly because, for those of you that don't fish on Hagler, a lot of the shore fishermen decide to leave yards and yards of line just laying around that riprap. So it's really easy to get crankbaits, jigs, spinnerbaits, jerkbait, anything just stuck. So that's why I lost that spinnerbait. But anyways, getting back to this, the main thing too that I felt was very what I'm getting at is, I noticed they're chasing bait still. I noticed, especially at least the wipers were, but I knew that there'd probably be some bass that would be chasing them, obviously, and just picked up the spinnerbait because I knew that they weren't eating craws at this point. But yeah, and for the most part too, I'm a big advocate of putting a trailer or a trailer hook on your spinnerbait. I typically put a trailer on my spinnerbait, and on this day I had a paddle tail swim bait as a trailer for this. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, pretty simple. It's not like it wasn't rocket science or anything. Figuring out this pattern. So yeah, overall it was a fun day. I really enjoyed filming it. I turned nothing into something. So tackle wise, I was throwing a spinnerbait, like, shag color, because at that time the water clarity was fairly clear. This is a War Eagle Trocar double willow blade spinnerbait. I actually am trying to get away from these now. The only reason is these only last probably about one season. Mainly because Trocar, they're a good hook, but here's the huge but: they wear out pretty easily. Like they dole out really easy. And then on top of that, they're really hard to sharpen. Like in my experiences, you're just kind of better off just throwing them away and replacing them. Luckily, when I was going to CSU, we were sponsored by them, so it was a lot easier just to replace them. Now, I like them. I'm not I'm not trying to say don't buy Trocar. I'm just saying food for thought. Something that you can't really replace, like a spinnerbait, like a spinnerbait hook, might be a good idea to maybe shop somewhere else for a hook. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I've caught plenty of fish on those spinnerbaits. That's why I kept buying them for a while. It's just the ones I first bought, I don't have anymore because I've tried sharpening them, and it's just I've missed fish, and I'm positive most of the time it's like it was because the hook was dull. But anyways, kind of what I mentioned earlier. One thing I decided to do was determine what people don't do too often. So what I'm getting at is the fact that look at your lakes, look what your buddies, locals, like what do they throw? This is a huge rant I like to kind of tell people, especially new fishermen, kind of ideas of what to do. And I can get way more in depth in that. If you're interested in me just doing a rant video about kind of this idea, just leave a like or comment in the comment section below, and I can definitely go way more in depth, but here's just kind of the quick little summary. I kind of started doing this with a lot of pond fishing around here with some of my buddies from high school, and especially learning new techniques. I know those guys were pretty, not one-dimensional, but they threw kind of the same things all the time. So to give you an idea, that's kind of the same idea here. Was I don't see a lot of people throwing a spinnerbait, especially slow rolling it, especially on the dam. I see them maybe throwing it near the brush, like all the down trees and all the brush and whatnot on the other side of the lake. I don't really see them throwing it there. So the idea behind this, which I like to do a lot, but like I said, if you guys are interested, I'll do a rant video on this more, but I really am passionate about figuring out what people throw there and differentiating yourself. I do this for tournaments. I do this just for fun fishing. I do this especially when I'm trying to learn new techniques, because a lot of the kind of, like, you could say average Joes or something, they don't find out about, let's say, when drop shotting started to become a huge thing. I remember when I first heard about it, and no one in my juniors club really threw the drop shot. And I'm like, you know what? That's how I'm going to separate myself, is just learn how to throw this. And I mean, now everyone and their brother has just a drop shot rod, like pretty much at all times. It's still a good bait. I'm just saying, like, differentiate yourself. That's kind of the message from this video. And in all honesty, I'll probably still do a video about it at some point. But yeah, that's kind of how I made this day go from getting skunked to catching over, like, I think probably about 3 bass. Didn't really make the GoPro footage, but yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll try to come out with another video hopefully next week or in the next few days. It kind of depends on what's going on. Originally, I was supposed to go fishing today, but you can see here, hopefully, it was just raining like nonstop. Yeah, so I decided to just make this video and just fish another day. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you out on the water.